Hello and welcome to another edition of Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike.
And I'm Chama Okoye.
All right, like we all often do, we are kicking off today with our newspaper headlines, and right after that will be our main conversation also for today. But please, while we get everything all sorted out for you, please do well to be part of our community. Have a say in what we say. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. We have distinguished guests today in the studios with us, Emeka Madunago, journalist, public affairs analyst, and Innocent Aduluba. He is equally a journalist and a communication expert. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so very much. Right, so let's kick start today with the first daily we have, Joma. I think we're starting off with the Weekend Trust.
Okay,
Yes.
let's start with the Weekend Trust. On the top strip of the Weekend Trust, we have Allowed Dam Tragedy. Farmers, fishermen struggle to pick pieces. Details are on page 10.
Okay, on the bottom strip also we have Rivers can receive monthly allocation appeal court.
Okay, moving on, still on the bottom strip, how elites retain wealth through marriage. Details are on page 29.
And also Tinubu Abbas among the Wada governors orders attend the Barrow's children's wedding.
Okay, still on the top strip, you have Lamido remains Council of Emirs chairman. That is coming from the Adamawa Assembly.
All right, our talking point for today, the big story here, opposition in disarray. We are doing well, parties insist. And also we have a couple of, the image here, we have Atiku, Kwankwaso, Obi, and all holding on to what seemed to be a fragmented wall, of course, with the title opposition.
Is that the wall of Nigeria?
The wall of disarray. I want to start with you, Innocent Abdulugba. Is this supposed to be a Trojan horse? Because Nigerians, from what they are seeing, from the lens they are looking at it, the opposition are obviously in disarray, but the opposition are saying they are not. So who should we believe now?
In the Bible, churches sing the walls of Jericho fell down flat. So here in Nigeria, with this headline, the walls of politics are falling down flat. But politics is not righteousness. So I would see this headline first and foremost a favorable propaganda for the incumbent government. It tells them that competition is weakening. That's what it tells them. But they don't have to just sit pretty. I have some free strategies for the PDP. They should define their identity. You don't have an overlapping personality. I'm surprised that as we are here, people like the FCT minister, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, is still identified as a PDP member. I'm surprised that His Excellency former Governor Fayoshe is still recognized as a PDP member. The parties, these are the elements that you can point at, and PDP cannot deny the cracks of being in disarray. They cannot. So we are all not Christians, but Jesus Christ, who is God, all-knowing, would tell you that if you are not for me, you are either for me or you are against me. You cannot stand on two legs across a river. You have to be either on the bridge, or you are on one bank, or you are on the other bank. For Labour Party, I think they are victims of orchestrated implosion. There could be cash externally pumped in to throw the party asunder. So the parties within Labour that are still united should tell the public how united they are. It's likely media could term them factional, but then they are factionally united. The elements, the prerequisites for conducting Congress, for going out as a recognized legal political entity, charged with the capacity to campaign, to select political participation of people in election, to produce selected people who are elected now as ambassadors for representation. They should comport themselves in that direct manner and let people know what side they are. But for now, this headline It's valid.
Okay, Emeka Madinago, do you believe it's valid and opposition in disarray and it's coming from there they are doing well? He said something, he said politicians are falling down flat, right? That's what he said. But in Nigerian politics where godfatherism exists, do you share the same thoughts with Innocent that politics is falling down?
No, it's APC together. No, that's the question. It's APC together. Try and hold an election today. Remove INEC from the equation. Let an independent body hold an election today, and you will be shocked. APC is in disarray. All of them, all the parties are in disarray. Why? Because of interest. The interest of the so-called godfathers. The interest of entrenched blocks, are actually weighing down on party supremacy. So they're crowding out, party supremacy, and that's why it looks like the opposition is inside. Is it because some members of PDP and Labour Party defected? Of course, what do you expect? Nigerian politicians largely lack principle. They are unprincipled. It's about where money is coming from. It's about anywhere Bele face, any government in power, and that's why it looks like our politics is in disarray. What the people desire is good governance. Ask those people who are defecting of what benefit they have been to their people, apart from maybe distributing some motorcycles, some rickshaws, some bags of rice. What real changes have they brought to their constituencies? There's one of them who is saying that the political party from which she defected has, died in her, constituency. Her constituency, there is a federal road that the Benin Warri Road passing through her constituency. There are many bus spots on that road. You see young men, pouring sand daily on that road. And when in the night falls, people say that sometimes, people are robbed, motorists are robbed on that road. What contribution has this lawmaker made towards getting the federal ministry or even FEMA, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, to fix those bad portions of that road? Is it the other one who was saying, he was a motorcycle rider before? Then he moved to the House of Reps. Based on that popular clamor, and now, yes. Let me tell you, these people lack principle. So the sad thing is that good governance continues to suffer. Democracy continues to suffer. And then the media is not also helping matters by bringing up this kind of stuff. Opposition in disarray. Who says it? No, the entire political class is in disarray. Look at Abia State. The governor is of Labour Party. But in the last local government election, it was YPP and Zenith Labour Party that won. Labour Party didn't win a single seat of council and all that. Look at the Rivers State. The same thing happened. The governor is of PDP, but the Action People's Party won all local governments is councillorship. Why? This incumbency factor from Abuja is what is threatening democracy. Abuja interferes in everything down to the grassroots.
Thank you so much.
Yes, of course, it's also important that they say this, because most of the Labour Party parliamentarians actually got there not because they were so popular, but because of the Obi factor.
Yes.
And right now, these same people are beginning to change.
No, the Obi factor came in as a revolution, and people see reasons why they should not do PDP, APC, and want to give another party and another different individual a new opportunity. Like they felt they needed a breath of fresh air, and that was what.
Some of them didn't get tickets in PDP and APC, and they moved to Labour.
And that was a revolution. And the truth is, for the way 2023 ended, a lot of Nigerians have lost hope. It's going to take a lot of things to actually revive them.
All right, but let's get into the Vanguard for today. On the very top strip here, letter to Kemi Badenoch. No grief for anybody. And why she disowns Nigeria, prefers Yoruba heritage.
Okay, moving on, still on the Vanguard newspaper in Rivers State, Appeal Court vacates order stopping allocation to states. Details are on page 7.
And also on the very bottom strip, this is actually quite interesting. Hardship Onyema, that is the Peace Air Onyema, calls for patience. Says Tinubu will stabilize the economy. Are you sensing anything?
I really don't want to say anything yet. Let's just move on. And still on the Vanguard newspaper, you have why Peter Obi tried to step into Afe Babalola's case with Faro TV. Details are on page 15 when you grab a copy of the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, but let's take a look at the big story here. 2027, not angry, will look for alternatives. If Tinubu doesn't get it right. Shetima Yerima AYCF president says. Emeka Madunago, the North are angry. Of the biggest or the largest casualty to the subsidies gone is the north part of Nigeria. The floating of the naira affects them the most. And of course, they are angry. But how deep-rooted do you think this anger is? And do you think it could change anything come 2027?
It's deep-rooted in the fact that the stomachs are empty now. That's how deep-rooted it is. Their stomachs are empty. The people have no food to eat. Yes, now.
If you're saying people have no food to eat in the north, but majority of the food produce we eat in Nigeria comes from the north, the tomatoes and other things.
Can they afford it? You can be producing something, but not be able to afford it.
No, Emeka, if we go down to the north,
yes,
it's known in the market when it comes to meat, tomatoes, and all this thing. It's way cheaper.
I said the people, the people. I'm not saying people like us who are middle class. I'm not saying people like us middle class. We are middle class, and somehow or the other we are able to, maneuver around some of these, things, messing up the country. I'm talking of the ordinary man, the hoi polloi. I've said it here that I heard a medical doctor say that some parents are now giving their children water and salt as food to hold body. So, food is expensive right now. It's not just about middlemen mopping it up. Look at many farmers now prefer to take their harvests to neighboring countries, francophone countries. We are surrounded by francophone countries because the CFA is stronger than the naira. The other time the customs arrested some, and why will we be arresting people when they are just engaging in legitimate business export? Then the North, Tinubu banked on the North to get the 6 million votes he got by running a Muslim ticket, and the expectation was that his policies, his appointments, his actions would likely favor the North. In fact, the Muslim North, because the Muslim North that is saying all this, but the Muslim North has come out to say that Tinubu has actually abandoned the pact he had with them concerning that Muslim ticket. And so that, they don't trust him any longer. So the thing is about interest. The interest they had in backing Tinubu up, in pushing for Muslim ticket, has fizzled out because the expectations have not been met. Their elite have been displaced from power now. People like Nasser Rufai, who are the ones pushing the idea, they have been left out in the code.
Thank you so much for that. Now let's look at one of the riders to this particular headline we're talking about. Says those who stole trillions under Buhari are free today. Are we going to categorically say that this is one of the anger of the North, or they're just using this as a front line to actually express something underneath that they don't want us to know?
Well, from what we can get from the tabloids is awash with some of the reasons, like you said, their expectations is broadly based on insecurity and economic hardship, and then some of them are very enraged that their governors lack creativity and just rely on monthly paycheck from Abuja. If you look at Nigeria now, I might derail a little to say one of the aspirations of Nigeria at this time is external than internal. We want to be a member of the United Nations Security Council. But from all of these expressions among the people of this country, we are looking worse than a country at war in Nigeria today. It's only in war situations like in Somalia or in Gaza that you see people going publicly to receive food. Today, representatives of the people, elected representatives, boast that they went out to share bread, share packs of food, which is more a refugee situation. So again, the business boom, the entrepreneurship spirit thrives more in the South. So the Northerners, in many of the federal policies, are great beneficiaries of the resources of this country. You have funds for educationally less developed.
There's so many things.
So maybe among the expectations, these are all being sealed off. And with the absence of this plug, certain people who could just open mouth and bread drops in. There is not even a drop of rain now. And so, talking about the food too, I'll just round up on that. My music every day, my crusade is, in this country we have a Senate, army, navy, all the paramilitary. We have lawyers, law students, law faculties in universities. Everybody aware that you cannot own arm without license. Now we know that those who are cattle headers carry guns. I'm yet to know or hear that one of them is licensed. And these are the people attacking local farmers in their enclaves. And much of these farmers now are quarantined in IDP camps. And so farming, the hands to farm, are reduced and idle. And that is affecting the volume being farmed for production. And that is leading to the food scarcity or insecurity. So reducing Nigerians to refugees, today you hear the federal government have distributed so amount for governors to deal with those buying food when we have fertile soil for production abandoned. Cannot solve the problem.
Thank you so much.
Choma, recency bias, right, is when you forget about the pains of the past and focus on what the little thing, the gleam of light that you see today. The same North, I beg you, and I'll tell you, right, when it comes to 2027, they'll still line up to still vote for whoever it is that is tormenting them. That is actually the problem.
Yeah,
and I hope that it solves it itself, you know, with the anger that they have. But just before we leave, let's just look at what's happening on the Guardian newspaper. And we have on the top strip here, Benue APC, a house of falling apart over Akume Alia rift.
Okay, still on the top strip, when you get into page 21, you find from Popola, deepening climate change narrative through reclaimed beauty.
All right, I don't know this. Whether Nigeria as Morocco, Saudi host World Cup. I don't know what that is. Okay,
from Ghana, lessons for Nigeria's electoral umpire ahead 2027 polls. Details are on page 2.
Wow, that's an interesting story. But I don't know why a mining sector can't be reliable despite MOU with France. Which of them do you think it's better here? Let's
talk about Ghana. Okay. Because truth be told, I love what the guest we had yesterday talked about Ghana. He went to Ghana because Mr. Sonny. So he mentioned some things about what Nigerians need to learn from the Ghana electoral process. And I think the policy they're trying to bring up electoral voting, which when we don't have data, is really alarming.
Yes.
And truly, they need to go through the books of Ghana, maybe get to sit with the electoral chairman and get to learn something. Now, Emeka Madnago, you had a handful of information about the Ghana election, how it went, even how a sitting president could not return to office. Now, what are some of the lessons you feel our leaders, even those in charge of the election, should learn and pick from? Nigerians, in quotes, too, should pick from the Ghana election.
And please include Professor Mahmoud Yakubu.
No, the very simple, my answer will be very straightforward. They know what should be done, but they refuse to do that. They refuse to do it, that's all. They know that they have been the ones compromising the integrity of elections through their missteps. Through the way, through the mishandling of elections. The IREV suddenly, froze during the presidential elections. And they said there were thousands of attacks on the system, So you see that up till now, as we speak, the BVAS and the IREV are yet to be put into the laws. They are still in the guidelines of INEC. They are not in the laws. You see that in Ghana, there has been this effort, to secondary education is free. And so they encourage more people to get in. They even encourage more educated people to get into politics. But in Nigeria, you can become president with just primary 6. So you see people who don't have certificates, people with false certificates, people who dodged NYSC, they go to the courts, and the courts help them to dodge the basic rudiments of good, qualifications to be in government. So basically, the entire system in Nigeria is rotten as regards election. Whether it's INEC, whether it's the judiciary, whatever is rotten. So the handlers of the system must now ask themselves a question. Is this the legacy we want to leave for the future? Because Ghana is leaving us behind, not just in the elections. In so many things, Ghana is leaving us behind. And it's sad though.
Very, very sad. Innocent Adeluba, in 60 seconds, if you may. The Chinese proverb, when the head is rotten, everything is gone. Do you think Professor Mahmoud Yakubu should be in that particular position?
Well, I think Nigerians should celebrate Professor Mahmoud Yakubu.
Should celebrate him.
Yeah,
Why?
Ironically, he's the longest serving INEC
Cheer.
chairperson, and that for him is an achievement. He will tell you there is something he's doing well for that continuity and span of time.
Is it something he's doing well at the expense of Nigerians, or
He who
something
pays
he's
the
doing-
piper dictates the tune.
Okay.
So, and like I started earlier, politics is not righteousness. But as Emeka had said, the summary of democracy is participation and representation. Now, participation is more for the masses in voting, and representation for the elected. And we are still running parochial political systems here, where voting in the parliament is by voice. When you hear ayes or nays, you can't tell if the man representing you, which
Really,
side
yeah,
he votes, but
exactly.
you went to vote for him. You have done your bit in the participation. So that if there is this program we used to watch about the millionaire thing, there are electronic voting in there. So
system.
you will see where your rep voted, on what side he voted, and the name, the constituency is just there. You know your person voted for you. And these are encouraging from the basics. That's the ploy in Kenya now that is causing some of their unrest. Unlike Nigeria, Kenyans don't troop to the road to do riot. A Kenyan, in quote, from Osun or from Ebonyi waits. After election, they discuss where their rep voted. Maybe the people of Osun wanted this, and their rep voted here. They will give him 2 weeks and burn his house. They don't need the entire nation to join them for protest. They deal with the person they voted for. But here is blind, it's opaque. You can't even tell. So in Ghana, the transparency is encouraging. Ghana, if he said Ghana is leaving us. In when Dr. Kwame Nkrumah led the West African independence move in 1956-57, we were more ready with the Awolowos and co. But it tells you Ghanaians are babies that start their crawling early. As we speak, infrastructurally, they boast some of the best roads in this part of the
Thank you
world.
so
So
much,
what are they doing well? What are they doing right? The Mahmoud factor in some countries, let me round up, that post is voted for. It's just like a chief justice or the judicial head is also voted for. But like I started, when you appoint somebody, for the purpose of job retention, I have to dance to the tune of my employer. He made a very strategic comment. He said, when we say the parties are in disarray, take out INEC and conduct election again. And that's where the Mahmoud factor is anchored.
Very true.
Thank you so
Just
much,
like
Innocent.
Sonny did say, in Ghana, when a parliamentarian splashes water on you, what they do is they just show them the thumb.
The thumb,
And
yes.
the parliamentarian comes back to beg because he knows that the thumb is the vote.
That's where
Very true.
voting
Counts.
Counts. All right, people, that's just about the time we have for this particular segment. And just to let you know, both gentlemen will be here to take us on our main conversation also.
And when we return, Federal High Court grants 500 million naira bail to ex-Kogi Governor Yahaya Bello in EFCC fraud case. We'll be discussing that shortly. To stay with us.